Hello and welcome to the video. This is a slight departure from the normal content of this channel because I've decided I want to review the Fallout television program when it comes out. Now this is a little bit premature since it's not due out till next year, I don't think, but we do have a little bit of information about the program. It's been on the cards for a while, but recently some more tidbits have been revealed with some official communications from Kilter Films, who are the production company behind the project, and Kilter Films are making this for Amazon. So anyway, I thought we'd have a look at the cast and crew we know about already, and later on take a quick look at some of the story elements that the TV program might be based on. So first up, let's go to the Wikipedia page for Fallout. This is probably a very good starting point, and here it lists the development crew and some of the cast. So the series is developed by Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, and they also write it, and they're also executive producers. Now Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan are a husband and wife team, and both of them are famous for creating, producing and writing the Westworld series. The first series of Westworld is meant to be very, very good. I've not seen it myself, and there were a couple of seasons after that which weren't so well received, and the series has now been cancelled, fortunately or unfortunately depending on your point of view. But the pair do have other projects under their belt. So if we look at Lisa first, here she is. Like I say, she's married to Jonathan Nolan, who's the younger brother of Christopher Nolan, famous for the Batman movies, for example. And Joy's filmography is fairly thin, to be honest with you. She's been involved in Westworld, The Peripheral before that, Burn Notice, which I understand is quite good, Pushing Daisies, which I don't really know much about at all. Last year she produced, wrote and directed a movie called Reminiscence that starred Hugh Jackman, and that was quite a flop, unfortunately. It was a sort of science fiction movie about a mind cop of some description, but apparently it only made about $16 million and needed about 110 to break even, so that sadly fell flat on its face rather. If we look at her husband Jonathan, here he is. Again, his career isn't massive. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of projects. Most of them, however, have involved his brother. So we've got Batman Begins, The Prestige, Dark Knight Rises, for example. He was also a producer on Reminiscence. And again, some fairly decent television experience. Not too much. But he's also been involved in The Peripheral, which is on at the moment, I think. And again, that's another science fiction show, which I think some people are finding a little bit confusing. So Jonathan and Lisa are the main powerhouses behind the production. Let's go down to the other executive producers. We have James Altman, who works for Bethesda, and he's the director of publishing operations. He also happens to be the son of one of the guys who founded the company that owns Bethesda, so that's perhaps a reason why he's succeeded. That might be a little bit uncharitable of me, but there you go. We've got Todd Howard, who's the director and executive producer of Bethesda, and has a finger in every pie in the company. We've got Lisa and Jonathan, who we've mentioned. We'll get back to Geneva Robertson-Dworet in a minute. We also have Graham Wagner, who's got a lot of experience in the business. If we look at his IMDb page, you'll see he's got a lot of very good credits here. I mean, some of these shows I haven't watched. I haven't seen Portlandia, for example, but I've heard that was excellent. But he's been involved in The Office, and he also has various writing credits, acting credits too. So he's got a fairly respectable back catalogue of TV shows behind him. We also have Athena Wickham, who's going to be another executive producer on the show. Again, she's got quite an extensive set of credits here. She's also involved in The Peripheral. She was also involved in Westworld. Before that, other shows like Person of Interest, which I believe was very good. Going back a little bit, we got Fringe. Also Alias and Lost, believe it or not. So all her early projects were working with J.J. Abrams Productions with Bad Robot. And unfortunately, Bad Robot have now got a bit of a bad reputation with fans at any rate. They do make good shows, but they tend to fizzle out, to be honest with you. It's like Fringe. I really enjoyed Fringe, but like most people, I found the final episode a bit irritating. But there's no doubt she's got a lot of good practical experience here. Lastly, and perhaps least, we have Geneva Robertson-Dworet, who is the showrunner. That is a little bit unfortunate for us, because Geneva's only credits to date have been on Tomb Raider and Captain Marvel, believe it or not. So she was the co-writer of Tomb Raider, which came out in 2018 and was quite a lackluster rebooting of the Tomb Raider franchise. It's largely forgotten about now. And she also co-wrote Captain Marvel, so less said about that the better, I think. And as I said, she's going to be a executive producer and the showrunner which doesn't bode well in my opinion. Much better news, however, is the cast. We have some fairly well-known names associated with the project now. Starring is Walton Goggins. You gotta love that name. Walton has been in loads and loads of things. I first came across him in The Shield, I think, where he played Shane Vendrell. And later on he was in Justified, playing Boyd Crowder. Yeah, I like Walton a lot. I think he's got a bit of a Fallout face, to be honest with you. Apparently he's playing a ghoul in the show, so that will be interesting. He was also in Tomb Raider 2018, where he played a character called Matthias Vogel. So potentially that's where he met the showrunner. But he's worked in so many things, it would be amazing if he'd not bumped into these people in other projects. Another well-known face is Carl McLachlan. I think his most famous role was as Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks. But my favourite role of his was Paul Atreides in the original Dune movie, which I really liked. I like Kyle, but, you know, he's worked consistently throughout his career, but I don't think his career really took off in the way everyone expected it might. He also had a role in Portlandia as the mayor of Portland, so that's another connection with one of the executive producers. Also confirmed for the show is Ella Purnell, rather nice looking young woman. She's not done too much, but she has got some solid movies and television experience under her belt. And she's currently starring in a show called Yellow Jackets about a girls' soccer team that gets stranded in the Alps or something like that. Again, I've not seen it. I've not seen most of these shows, unfortunately. I did watch Arcane though, and she did the voice of Jinx, which is quite interesting. Also confirmed for the show is Aaron Moten. And I confess, as soon as I saw Aaron, I thought of Preston Garvey. I would love to see Preston Garvey on the screen, but I don't think it's going to be that kind of adaptation. I think we're going to see some new characters rather than old Fallout 4 characters. But he's had a lot of experience over the last 15 years with some popular shows. And the last named actor that we know that's associated with Fallout is Zelia Mendes-Jones, who has done very, very little. In fact, she's only got 3 credits, and one of them is Fallout. So she played someone called Johnny in Havoc, which is a movie, I presume, in post-production. And she also appeared as Janet in Sans comic. I have no idea what she's like, but here she is centre screen between Kyle and Aaron. And she's got a bit of a raider look about her, I think. I can imagine her as a raider or a vault overseer, perhaps. Anyway, they look an interesting bunch, don't they? I think we have reasons to be positive when considering the cast. As to the show itself, there's been some coverage in the trade press. This is an article from Variety. Amazon's Fallout series gives a first look at its Vault 33, because Vault 33 is apparently the location, or the starting point of the new program. And we can tell it's Vault 33 because you can just make out 33 written on the backs of the suits of the people in this picture. And what we're looking at is people watching someone leave the vaults, and you can tell they're leaving because they're wearing their Pip-Boy on their left arm. And there also seems to be a character down here. I'll just point him out. You know, you can see a pair of feet down there. So it looks like he might have been knocked out or killed by this guy to get out. I'm assuming that's a guy. But if we go down and look at the main article. So I'll skip most of the blurb, but it just tells you what I've told you already, really. That some of the show will take place in Vault 33. But interestingly, it says, in the games, Vault 33 is located in San Diego and is one of the smaller shelters, with only 6 people being allowed inside. And remember that, because we'll come back to that bit of detail in a few minutes. There's not too much more to say about it. They give more or less the information you see on the Wikipedia page. And most of the articles I've seen about the show are like this. They just give the basic details with a few images and details of the cast and crew. Now remember that Variety thinks that Vault 33 is in San Diego and only has 6 people in it. And if you do a search on Vault 33, you come to this page. There's this site called Amino, which I've never heard before. But there's a post on here called Vault 33 by an author called Vipence. And as far as I can make out, Vipence is an Australian girl who's just written this bit of fan fiction. So here is Vault 33. It should have 39 occupants in it. And the idea was that, well, according to Vipence, that Vault-Tec were going to put 6 human beings in there, 4 men and 2 women, and then fill up the rest of the spaces with robots. And then once all the humans had died out, essentially, Vault-Tec wanted to see if the robots would form their own community. However, as I said, this appears to be nothing more than a bit of fan fiction. and it was written in 2017. So what I think happened is that the journalist who wrote the Variety piece just did a quick internet search on Vault 33, found this fan fiction, and thought that was a bit of background. So I'm not going to give the San Diego 6 people theory much credence at all, really. Now, the image in the Variety article is an official release, but there have been various leaks of other images from both inside and outside studios. So let's take a quick look at some of those. If we go to Coming Soon Net, they give us some very nice images down here. Here's some images tweeted from Hunter of Hunter World. If we click on these, so that's someone in a Fallout suit on the back lot of some sort of stage there. Let's look at the next one. This is the interior of a vault. Obviously we're behind the scenery here. Go back again. This one's a bit... Yeah, we'll talk about thumb on screen. But there's some vault armour. That's good to see. It's good to see. And go down here. And this is just, yeah, more vault tech machinery, I guess. Let's come back. Yeah, more images. Live cargo. I don't know what that is. That doesn't look very Fallout to me, really. It looks like a railway museum. But here's the same railway set, and they're obviously filming something here. And someone did point out that the camera on the end of the boom that you can see in the middle of the screen is actually a film camera. So it's possible that the whole series might be on film, and that'll give it a much grittier and, I think, realistic feel than recording on digital would have done. Here's another image. Someone thinks this might be dog meat. It doesn't look like dog meat to me, to be honest with you. Looks like someone's pet. And here's a close-up of that boom I described earlier. And you can see someone who has been described as an Enclave guard in the middle there, holding some sort of... is that a plasma rifle or a las rifle? I'm not sure. Anyway, he's looking very smart. We can all agree on that. Den of Geek is another outlet that's been relying on Twitter feeds. We've got Tom of Robert's Radio here with some more images. Mostly machines. Let's just flick through these. Yeah, someone responded to this thread saying that a lot of the machinery in these shots looked like things they'd seen in Lost. So, I don't know. Perhaps they had some hanging around in some dusty corner of the studio. Some old Lost prop somewhere. Those aren't particularly interesting. This is quite interesting. This is a vault interior. And that looks very vault-like indeed, I think. Really looking forward to seeing that. Let's have a look at some more. The outside world can never hurt you. Very true. We've got some sort of crib here. Another vault nursery. I like the rocking chairs painted in vault blue. They look very smart, don't they? Another vault shot here. We've got one of the rooms in disarray. Looks like it might have been a classroom or something like that. And interestingly, we've got this image, and this is quite intriguing. We're obviously inside a vault, but we've got a little farm plot in here with some dead crops in it. And in the background you can see a container that's got 32 written on it, so not 33. It might be that you have people leaving Vault 33, going out to explore the wasteland, and coming across Vault 32, which is derelict for some reason. We also have some exclusive Fallout set photos from Collider, and these are of a super duper mart. That's an illustration, I think. I don't think that's a set picture. The super duper marts are quite iconic in the Fallout lore. I'm sure we're all familiar with these. But as you'd expect, everything is looking very grubby and rusty. Here's another wide shot showing the set in more detail. These photographs were taken on Staten Island. And apparently people have been sending in images from all over the States. So it's quite a widespread production. It's not just, in a few locations. And here's some video of the same shooting lot. Yeah, there's not too much more to say about it beyond the fact that it's a super duper mart. I think what would set it off is a couple of ghouls staggering out at you. Or some tins of cram on the floor or something like that. Now, I've seen quite a lot of vehicles in these shots and other photos. What I haven't really seen is anything that's particularly iconic to Fallout 4. And I'll show you what I mean by looking at these images here. So this is some of the artwork for Fallout 4. And these are the sort of cars I'd be expecting to see. Or not the cars I'd be expecting to see, the wrecks of cars I'd be expecting to see. You've got the red coupe on the left, which is quite famous. You've got the little three-wheeler zip at the top. Then you've got the various station wagons and other vehicles at the bottom there on the right hand side. Not seen anything like that yet. And it would be a shame if we missed out on that. But I imagine sort of resource heavy props like this would be done by CGI rather than created physically. Anyhow, I hope you found that of interest. There's plenty more to see online, but I think I've covered most of the information available, to be honest with you. Anyhow, when it's eventually released, I will be trying to review it every week. I really enjoy the Fallout universe, more specifically Fallout 4 and to a lesser extent Fallout 76. Yes, I'm one of the people who enjoys Fallout 76. So I hope you'll join me for that when the show eventually rolls up. Okay then, good night.